Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And welcome to the SpoilerCast for the Lego Movie 2, the second part. Ominous. Terror. Duplo. Duplo, Dragon. Duplo.
Yep.
They're so cute, but so menacing.
Oh, yeah.
So, Dragon, just going right into this, man. I got to admit, I'm having like a kind of like a Deadpool 2 reaction that you were sort of having with those two movies, like with Lego Movie and Lego Movie 2, because technically Lego Movie, it was the one that really came around and it kickstarted everything. It was like just this really really like, oh my god, we've never seen anything like this before. All these crossovers, all these the live action and everything. Like Lego Movie was a game changer of an animated movie, just like Deadpool was a game changer for the comic book franchise and comic book genre, if you will. And Dragon, what I really appreciate about the Lego Movie 2 is that it's not like it doesn't have that same sort of fresh coat of paint, like, wow, we've never seen this kind of thing done before, because of course we have. But Dragon, I would wager to say that the writing in this movie is so on point that it is the second best written Lego movie, ever since the first Lego movie. So, point being, Dragon, Lego Movie still is the best one in the franchise, but I think this is a solid number 2. Like, I don't know how you feel about this, Dragon, but in my humble opinion, with everything they did in this movie, I kind of firmly put this above Lego Batman movie, and I hope you have this above Ninjago.
I do.
Okay. So, Dragon, what did you think of the Lego Movie 2, the second part?
One, I've been looking for that second part all over the place. I'm so glad I found it. No, all seriousness. So let me tell you this. So Lego Movie 2, it's been so perplexing because remember I've told you about this, and again, so far box office wise and from other people's accounts, I've been hearing the same thing all over, and I guess you can kind of fill me in on this. So before you get my overall thesis,
my theater was oddly packed.
I see.
I was kind of an anomaly, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I basically, no one has been talking about this movie. No one and no one's been apparently seeing this movie, at least in the broad spectrum of things. Like, I remember I was getting tickets for this and just kind of wondering, like, do I even need to buy tickets in advance for this? And really, I didn't need to, but it was just the theater was barely filled like the day of that first release. Now, I don't know if that means like Friday wouldn't be packed, but I don't know. It's just this weird anomaly that. You'd imagine there would have been a lot more hype for Lego Movie 2 going into it. Would you agree with me there? Wasn't like a lot of hype going into this?
Yeah, I mean, I did feel like a distinct lack of hype generally for this movie. But you know what, Dragon? I mean, that is just sometimes that's where the cards lie with me in terms of movies that I really like, where it's like, I feel like this movie didn't really have to try as hard. And it's refreshing to get a movie that focuses more on the character arcs than the big kind of like over-the-top fourth wall breaking humor. And we still get that kind of humor, but what I really love about this movie is the character. Like all the character stuff.
Right, and I guess overall my point is, this is like a film that no one's seeing, and I just don't know why, because, I went into this completely blind, and I had a great time. I really did. And I guess overall, in terms of like a kind of a thesis statement, I think I would kind of loop this in the category of like Wreck-It Ralph 2, in the vein of it's a great continuation, it really is. But I feel it's held back by something, and it's this ever present shadow of the first film. It's not a bad thing. It's just that you can feel that nothing's knocking down the first Lego movie off its peak, and it's not happening. But again, this movie is tremendously well made, and again, it's an excellent continuation. Again, continues the quality, but again, it's like not the lightning in the bottle of of the first movie. So, and again, it's kind of like Wreck-It Ralph for me. That's great world building. It has like a lot of things going for it. But there's an element, again, different in the case of this movie. There's some element that's just kind of holding it back in some way for me. That again, it's kind of making me not enjoy it as much as that first time, but still loving that we got a second one. So that's kind of where I'm at on the movie. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so let's see. Dragon, with that in mind, our thesis is out of the way and everything. Do you want to cover some background for the movie?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's do it.
Spaceship! Keep the background nice and simple here. Okay. So Lego Movie comes out. Of course, there's a lot of Lego Movie comes out. You got a lot of franchises and spin-offs in the works, like Lego Batman Ninjago, Lego Ninjago, of course, based on the very popular franchises that are kind of somewhat established in the big premiere Lego Movie, and all the while, Lego Movie 2 is in the works. So again, the first movie comes out, your instant go-to is, okay, there's going to be a Lego Movie 2, most certainly, because how can you not, with like all the potential, basically the big cliffhanger ending of Lego Movie 1, where okay, the Duplo bricks have invaded, So how can you not, how can you not go to the next one without knowing where that first one left off? You don't need to, but again, even if you're curious. The point is, they had some bases loaded on the ending of the first movie, so. They're going to the second movie, and of course, they have all these other Lego movies in the works simultaneously, at the same time. And originally, Chris McKay was slated to direct. Now, Chris McKay, of course, he went on to direct Lego Batman. Hence, the reason he didn't end up directing this movie. He was slated to direct, and the big thing he was championing from the early development stages was a kind of a girl power message. More female characters, and I want to say most of kind of at least half the message of the movie, I feel is kind of put into play by Chris McKay. Again, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but that would be my summation based on what he was just kind of proposing initially. So basically, so they go to Rob Schrab to direct next, and he worked with Dan Harmon on Monster House. It's supposed to be his directorial debut, but that fell through. So I don't know if he's gone on to direct his first animated feature yet or not. I'm not sure what's happened with Rob Schrab, but then we get to the eventual director who ended up directing the full thing. I think you're going to be really interested by this, Tiki. It was Mike Mitchell.
Okay.
Mike Mitchell, the guy's had somewhat of a mixed directing career, but I think the two best things that he's done, you have Sky High, director of Sky High, which is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, for sure. Dragon, one day we'll cover Sky High.
One day. And Shrek the Fourth.
Yeah, I'm just kind of waiting for the right theme month to theme Sky High around. I'm trying to get there.
And, sorry, let me rephrase. I was thinking about the movie that was not made. Shrek Forever After.
Wait, what about Shrek Forever After?
He also directed that. He directed Sky High and he directed Shrek Forever After.
Okay.
And he was also the voice of your favorite character.
Yes, of course.
Wee Little Butterpants.
Do the roar. Do
it. That guy. So that guy directed this guy. Anyway. So Lord and Miller, they were not in the saddle directing, and I think that's been the big thing to note with all the Lego movies. Lord and Miller had not been in the directing saddle because obviously they've been busy with other things that are very notable, like mainly things they had. Oddly enough, Lord and Miller's, I feel so bad for them because Lord and Miller, they keep almost directing things, and it's just so sad when you think about it. Lord and Miller, they wrote this film, and they've been involved definitely in producer capacity. I forget how big on the writing they've been. I don't know how involved in the writing they were on Lego Batman. I think they were just producers on that, but regardless, Lord Miller, they've been overseeing the Lego stuff, but heavily more on the basically less Ninjago, more everything else. I think it shows. So the point is, Lord Miller.
Well, Lego Movie 2, correct me if I'm wrong. They, I believe they just exclusively wrote it, maybe with one other guy involved in the writing process, if anything.
Yeah, like definitely, they did a number of rewrites and such. And I don't know if they were there from. I
Uh-huh.
assume they were there from the get go, and they probably initially in the directing cell, then they realized they were busy with other things, and they probably handed it off. That'd be my guess, anyway. So, they're not directing because they're busy with other projects ish, so to speak. Because of course they're honestly Lord Miller they're doing the Lord's work. No pun intended.
Okay, Dragon, I'm just going to be straight up honest with you. Like, I'm so excited about Lord and Miller as just a dynamic duo in Hollywood that basically he's to the point where he's like a Sorkin man. I'm going to be excited every time I see them doing a script together. I'm going to be excited every time I see them directing together.
That's the thing. Just think about what they've done to you, just in a producing capacity. Imagine this. They're kind of almost getting to they're kind of like a mix between the Russo brothers and Feige. It's like, what if you could divide Kevin Feige into two people? That's what you go through. That's what you go with Lord Miller, where you have think about Spider-Verse. That's them. So I think it's kind of the most notable kind of biggie they've done. Of course, so a bit of a Lego Batman, definitely a Lego movie. Again, they were working on they're working on Solo. They've been floating around doing a number of projects, but that's the thing. So Lord Miller, of course, many people the 21 Jump Street franchise. There's a number of things Lord Miller's been involved with that's been going like gangbusters for him. Some other stuff too, but. Again, you never know how certain things are because there's talk of them doing a Flash movie. There's talk of them doing a number of other things, but a lot of it's speculatory. The point is, Lord knows they're doing good. Anyway, okay, so the point is they wrote this, at least the majority of this. So they're going into the new movie, and basically the big story challenges they had to figure out were they had like a couple big challenges. Big challenge numero uno. They have to sell, a girl being interested in Legos, which, again, I'm not saying it's like, obviously, kids of all shapes and sizes play with Legos, but there's always kind of a believability. And, like, again, we had Duplos. Like, how do you get from Duplo to Lego? How do you broaden?
For you, I have a personal question for you. Did you play with Duplos?
No.
No, not at all in your childhood?
No.
Okay, I had a big bin of them.
Okay.
Like, they weren't pink. They weren't Dragon. The thing you have to understand is that Duplos aren't just girls' toys. They're basically oversized Lego bricks.
Well, look, I'm not sorry. Let me rephrase it. I'm not saying Duplos are exclusively for girls. What I'm saying is they're going from kind of like the young kid thing to how do you get from young kid to kind of like broader to like kind of a girl centric thing. Again, it sounded like that was the production problem they were, the story challenge they were facing. Where okay, how do we? Because again, Legos are for everyone, but still, there's kind of a broader thing of how do you sell like I don't know if they're mutually. Basically, I think you have to be really into Legos to really seek out all the different kind of varieties of Lego or different franchises of Lego and everything. I suppose. But that was one of the challenges they faced first and foremost. Hence the aging up of the girls. What I'm getting at, and hence the aging her up because again, I guess they figured they can't go fully through Duplos for an entire movie, so they kind of had to kind of speed through some of that. And then, of course, you get to the extra Lego lines. They basically got creative with the Lego lines, is what I'm getting at here. Where you have other brands like the Mini Dolls and the Lego Friends. You can get the branded up a little bit, and of course, definitely kind of make a little bit more sense, but also feel different from the universe we've already established. So that's pretty much that was one of the main story challenges they kind of figured out when tackling the next installment. Then we have the other big challenge of okay, now we have two kids in our story here. Now we've kind of blown everybody's mind with the third act of the first Lego movie. We have to now balance kind of our pseudo narrative, kind of our subtextual narrative here. Okay, so we have the kids' actions, the kids' state is kind of reflected in the Lego blocks. That's what we set up with the first movie. Now we have to do that with two kids, and we have to have those drive the film in a cohesive way, so we don't lose what was special about the first movie. But now, and again, the big one we'll definitely be talking about, I'm sure, is. Overall, the genie's out of the bottle from the get-go of the sequel. So that's the biggest challenge I would imagine they have to contend with going into this movie. And again, I think that's the thing partly working against the movie and for the movie at the same time. It's working for the movie and against the movie. Secrets out from the get-go. Where do you go from here? And again, along the way, there were some rewrites in getting the story just right. Because again, there's a lot of, those may sound like real simple things of, okay, well, we have a girl playing with Legos and we have two kids. So what? Well, folks, that's a hard thing to kind of maneuver just right to get a story that that plays versus a story of like, okay, we're just in Legoland, just kind of doddering around. We gotta make a story out of that. Darn it.
Yeah, that's the thing, Dragon. I think this movie did that kind of thing exceptionally well. Like you said, I think the it's not as consistent and real bit building level with the first Lego movie as I would have wanted it to be. But by the same token, I feel like it goes outside of the boundaries of the Lego movie by essentially what they're doing is, like with the daughter and the son playing with the Legos on a consistent basis, the whole room completely thrown out of whack, wildly in the process.
Yeah. All right, that's pretty much it. I think those are all the important notes to hit with the background. So let's move into kind of the plot summary. Right. It goes a little something like this, just to keep it simple and not go through every little reveal. Okay, so plot goes a little something like this. So it's 5 years post the ending of the Lego movie, where Bricksburg is invaded by specifically the Duplo bricks, but also broadly the Sistar system. The Sistar system kind of sends the Duplos, and they attack, which definitely leaves a mark on Bricksburg, which basically in 5 years, Bricksburg, then after this invasion, after these new players kind of roll into place, Bricksburg has turned into Apocalypseburg. And basically, Apocalypseburg is kind of this Mad Max-esque kind of setting where
Dragon, one of the only things I wanted in this movie that I did not get is a guy with a flamethrower guitar.
I mean, there were guitars that had flamethrowers on it a little bit throughout the movie, Tiki. I mean, you kind of got that, and I don't know.
I don't know. It wasn't the same. It didn't have the same kind of presence as the.
I mean, Batman plays a guitar that essentially shoots fire. What more do you want?
Yeah, true.
Anyway, Mister. Oh, never mind. Anyway, so basically, we have this Apocalypseburg, this Mad Max setting where where Emmett can't seem to a good-hearted Emmett can't quite seem to adopt the Mad Max mentality of the place. So Lucy, she wants Emmett to be more kind of broody and gritty, and he wants to be more edgy. He wants to kind of lose kind of all the sunshine and rainbows of him. Like, oh look, a shooting star! Let's make a wish. She wants him to lose all that. So Lucy and the band of lead Legos, they get captured by essentially a representative of the Duplos and the Sistar system by General Mayhem. I was thinking Major for a second there because it is Major, but General makes it sound like it's a little more vague, a little more kind of like let's see where it goes. It's General Mayhem. Anyway, in all seriousness, so General Mayhem, this faceless character, comes down there, captures them, and takes them to the Sistar system, to the home planet of the Duplos, to meet their queen. Queen, whatever I want to be. Queen, whatever I want to be. Right. So while they're meeting the Queen, Emmett has a vision of the Armageddon. The Armageddon is kind of a vision of doom that's about to strike. Of course, Emmett had some visions in the first movie, therefore this vision not so good. So Emmett's trying to stop this vision and save his friends before the end times come by. So this leads to a journey to save Lucy and pals, and he makes a new friend along the way, Rex Danger Vest. Who, in essence, is all of the other Chris Pratt roles melded into one. So meanwhile, the Queen wants to marry Batman. I'm not joking here, folks. The Queen wants to marry Batman very suspiciously, as a sort of kind of a ceasefire kind of peace ceremony, kind of like as somewhat of as kind of a ceasefire peace treaty. And let's see. Sorry, folks, a little something kind of jumped out of me here. Okay, anyway, sorry about this. So Rex, the Queen has this big ceasefire ceremony she's trying to put into play. She plots to the plot, both of our plot lines combine. They kind of converge with a big plot, with a big twist that involves Rex and the Armageddon, which leads to a big relevant some big relevant self-discovery and growth that we can all dance to. That's pretty much what the movie is.
All right, so speaking of which, Dragon, let's get into the main man himself, Emmett.
Yeah.
So it was so good to see this character back on screen again, man.
Yes, it was.
I cracked a smile, the first time he shop, like, 2 lattes, please. It's like everyone, it's like the apocalypse is literally happening around him, but that's Emmett for you. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the character that they've crafted, and it totally works. And it's really why Emmett is probably like the face of Lego right now, for good reason.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So yeah, I gotta tell you, Tiki, I can't get enough of Chris Pratt as Emmett. Again, I just love this happy-go-lucky Lego. Just everything in the world just all great for me. I just can't get enough of that. I really can't. And also we have so much great kind of stuff attached to Emmett too, with the fact that he's he's kind of symbolic of the kid. He definitely has a Finn connect, and of course, I like that our kind of 3 of our characters we're going to cover here. I like 3 of basically, you can say this with all the characters to some extent, but I like that at least 3 of these characters kind of represent Finn, the boy's arc, in a really interesting way, and I really appreciated that. And with Emmett specifically, he kind of represents Finn's innocence and basically innocence being challenged. That's kind of what Emmett's arc is in this movie. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And let's see. Oh yeah, so he's just basically he's kind of our hapless hero, true heart, real nice guy, and he kind of falls in with essentially he falls without giving away all of it. He kind of falls in with the wrong crowd, so to speak. The quote freak is like the wrong crowd. Yep. And it's basically, what if you take the most innocent, nice guy, and he essentially, again, the clever thing of the story is, again, a little bit of a Wreck-It Ralph parallel. We kind of turn our hero into somewhat of the bad guy of the story.
Dragon, there is definitely Wreck-It Ralph written all over this, and I don't think it's anyone's fault. I just think it's a weird writer's coincidence, like oh shit, like I guess both our movies got like really introspective with the villains. Good job, guys. Great minds think alike.
Absolutely. And he's just I just love that. And basically, what this builds to with them is it gets us to this great literalized arc of self-acceptance and having faith in your friends, because you literally kind of faces himself with this, and it's really kind of neat. It's really it's really clever. I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. I love that. Again, it's Emmett kind of being challenged by the world, and again, Emmett's in no way the bad guy, but he technically is the bad guy of the movie through no fault of his own. It's delightful.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to stay away from spoilers here. We're going to get into spoilers once we talk about the Rex character, but
I gotta tell you, I don't want to lose this. Again, in Apocalypseburg, just like, not even talking about that, it's going to the very beginning of the movie. It's Apocalypseburg. He's just going getting the coffee, doing all the happy-go-lucky stuff we started the first Lego movie with. It's a great.
That's what I'm saying. And when he's still getting the coffee, I'm just like, this is like it feels like we're at home in the Lego franchise, the way the Lego franchise should be.
Yep.
Hmm.
All right. All right, so that said, let's talk about Lucy, or otherwise known as Wild Style.
Yeah, so Lucy, let's save the twist involving her for one of my favorite moments, perhaps.
Okay.
Unless you wanted it.
Well, it's not that, Tig. It's just, I'm a little vague on what your specific moment is, but we'll roll with that. Okay.
The everything is awesome twist.
Oh, yes, that one. Okay, yeah, sure.
Yes.
All right, so, okay, well, just talking about Lucy on the other stuff here. So again, I love that we, on the whole, though, I love that we explore Wild Style's origin. So again, this is something I think the sequel really benefits from right here. I love the fact that we you know, it was something we didn't need to know, but again, it's something that it's kind of an unanswered thing from the first movie where, you know, Wild's telling you, why would this character change her name so often? It was a running gag in the first movie. And she goes like when Vitruvius and the Morgan Freeman characters just accused him of saying, wait, didn't you have like it sounded like a DJ name and they had changed it from this to that to this to that to this to that. And of course, it was a big moment, you know, hence the reason we're really calling her Lucy, because her whole arc was that, you know, she's just being real with Emmett. It can be real and plain and simple, and that's essentially what her arc is here. But again, kind of fulfilled, where she doesn't have to be someone who was so desperate to be special, so desperate to be important, and lost the sense of herself in that arc. And that's kind of what we kind of put in perspective here. Would you agree?
Yeah, what I really dig and appreciate about Emmett and Lucy's story throughout the movie is that none of them ever really get mad at each other, in spite of the fact that they do make mistakes and they do things that counteract the other one, and they acknowledge it. But it's not like we don't get any of that petty, like, you know, like end of second act, like, oh no, Emmett, I'm going out with this other Lego guy now.
I mean, they are both very reasonable in this movie because, again, Emmett literally does what she asked of him, and then she's, you know, having regrets. Yet nobody's the bad guy in this situation. Well, technically Emmett is, but again, it's not his fault. And again, it's like pleasant conflict. So rarely in life do you get pleasant conflict that works.
Right.
And I guess with Lucy here, she kind of learns that, you know, you don't have to be, you know, edginess. You don't have to be edgy and cool. You know, basically she's kind of convinced herself, you know, she has to be edgy and cool to kind of to be valued, to be special, and like, you know, everyone, you know, she's not as edgy and cool as everyone wants, as she wants everyone to think. You know, she's kind of this very light and fun you know, character. I mean, with the hair, the whole the thing with the hair, where, you know, she has like this, she's had this black hair, and you imagine, okay, it's black hair with these little highlights, but in reality, it's actually kind of this, it's all blue and pink hair, and she, like, again, with the physics of the illogical logic of it being a Lego, she used the marker to color to color her hair in black, which is quite ingenious. But again, I love it. Again, that's the great thing about the Lego franchise when done right, is that you have these little inane things that, again, are so wonderful and mundane, but again have such great kind of like resonance of character. Like, why would she do that? Something so simple like the Lego just color her hair in different, but again, why would she do that? It's a big revelation. It's neat, and I think in terms of how they relate to the kid, I love that Lucy is representative of Finn growing up, but kind of a more natural transition with hesitation. So basically, if Emmett is kind of like the, you know, the self acceptance and kind of like basically before an arc is quite necessary, Lucy is right smack dab in the middle, where Lucy essentially is where Finn is going in the 5 years since the first movie. Like, Finn is going through the transitional phase, and that's where Lucy is. And again, Lucy is trying to change Emmett, which is kind of the last vestige of Finn in his of Finn in that natural state, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and again, I really love it. I like that Lucy got a little bit more to do in the movie. I did like she was kind of our main. Who do you feel is the main Lego out of the two? You think Emmett or Lucy?
You know, probably Lucy, honestly, and I
That's
don't
a
mind.
thing. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Okay, so Dragon, let's go to one of your favorite characters.
Yeah, let's talk about the Batman. All right. So, oh boy, I was happy with what they did with Batman. I really was. I was very interested by it. And again, I can only speculate a lot of this here, but I got to tell you, there's some really interesting stuff with Batman in this movie, Tiki. So one, I think they continued kind of the clever stuff with Batman. I was really liking, and bear in mind, just in case anyone's just curious, it's been a while since we talked Lego, but out of Lego franchise, I will admit that the Lego movie is definitely the technically and objectively, it's the best out of the franchise of all the Lego movies. However, Lego Batman is my favorite personally out of all of them. Really loved it. Again, I'll admit, yeah. It's like the only issue I had with Lego Batman is that we didn't use more of the Batman villains. We just kind of like threw them in and towards the end, just kind of during the big action sequence. But yeah, aside from that, I love that movie so much, really. But anyway. Even that's fine, just as I'm saying. The point is, I can't get. I love Lego Batman. I think he's great. So we got more of that here. I'm glad we didn't I'm glad we didn't just completely step over Lego Batman necessarily. Don't get me wrong, we kind of have something that's self-referential to that we'll talk about later. But I love that we. I love that we continue kind of the clever world building that we got with the Lego Batman movie. He's I felt that we in the movie what they did with Batman is that there's a clever examination of that. Um, Let me rephrase that. Basically, I feel there's examination of kind of how of what's going on with Batman in comics now, as well as kind of how the Hollywood system views Batman. I thought this was very fascinating because you have basically this Batman is very much like a Tom King Batman, which suggested the kid, because again, the kid would be in modern day, he would be in 2019. Essentially, what the stuff that's been going on with Batman the last 2 years, like the early this year and the end of last year, is what this movie would. It kind of ties into what was like most recently done with Batman, where Batman was married off essentially. And they had this whole wedding story with Batman in the comics, and that's kind of what they're paralleling here. I'd like to think, and just broadly, the big again, Tom King Batman. To any who don't know, Tom King Batman very simply is it's kind of Tom King trying to reinvent Batman in a way that hasn't been done before, where it's basically asking the very simple questions with Batman, like can Batman be happy? That's the main question. Can Batman be happy, and can he get married? Could Batman have a family again? Which again we kind of saw put into play with the first Lego Batman movie. So again, it's kind of like it's kind of a logical kind of like a Lego interlocking into something, kind of interlocks into place beautifully as a story concept when you think about it. Where we take kind of like almost like a Scott Snyder, there's Joker hating Batman turns like a romantic comedy in the Lego Batman movie, and we kind of and then we can take the other serious, most recent Batman story and we kind of put it in the context of this movie. Okay, Batman gets married as a subplot. Kind of funny. But yeah, you want to weigh in on any of this, Tiki?
A lot of this comic book stuff kind of goes over my head, Dragon, but I'm glad you like it. And I'm glad you like it.
Well, point being, just with the Hollywood stuff, I like that we addressed that. Basically, we have all this growth with Batman, the Lego Batman movie, yet we have to make him a loner for the purposes of this movie. And I love that so Batman yet again is alone, as he was at the end of the first Lego movie, and as the whole Lego Batman movie kind of explored with him. So yet again, he is alone, and we're taking the opportunity to kind of tell yet another kind of great Batman story with that. It's kind of what I'm getting at in a roundabout way, I guess. So it's and I guess broadly the causal link to the kid is that Batman, he is reluctant to change. It's sort of like a mixture of he's reluctant to change as a character, hence the whole like he's alone again at the start of this movie after everything went through. Again, he was brought into family and friends, yet he's back to being a loner. Again, the kid's reluctant to change his ways, hence like no change, no Duplo bricks in my town. Along with again kind of progression of Batman with the Tom King wedding stuff, the whole kind of be happy question, and again Finn. This implies to me Finn's up to date on Batman, and I think the broader implication that his sister Bianca, I think Bianca is my read on the whole like why Batman is getting married in this movie again, aside from all the Tom King speculation. That's a maybe, but in regards to why Batman's getting married in this movie, I feel Bianca is using a symbol of the ultimate symbol because her brother apparently is they've confirmed somewhere that Finn was the kid with the Batman bricks in the Lego Batman movie. They just haven't explicitly said because it's still Will Arnett doing the voice and everything. So presumably it's all in the same universe with that one. I mean, it's in the same. You know what I mean? It's in the same universe with the whole.
Yeah. I got you.
Okay, my point is, in correlation to the sister is that Batman is kind of the ultimate symbol of what the brother likes, as well as kind of the ultimate symbol of, it's like a G.I. Joe thing. It's like, when you have a sister, it's the G.I. Joe and Barbie's going on the date sort of thing. You have both toys, and therefore, you pair them up on something or other. And that's kind of the correlation there. I feel like basically the sister's trying to create an armistice, kind of an olive branch to the brother, with the ultimate symbol of that being, hey, let's all get along. My Lego, my Duplos, my Lego bricks are getting along with your Legos, the king of which being Batman. We can make this work.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like a layman compared to you, Dragon, with the comic book stuff. But just to jump in here and get my 2 cents in, I do like that Batman's kind of loner archetype continues through all the movies that we've seen him in this franchise. and we do get like a freaking shockingly good relationship between him and the Queen, which, my God, which, you know, when it first started acting, like, hey, Bruce, you go up and do it. Bruce Wayne, I don't know who that is. I feel like when he tries to cover up the fact that he's Bruce Wayne, Will Arnett sounds the most like BoJack. Yeah, Bruce Wayne. Yeah, I don't know who you're talking about.
Right.
Anyways.
All right, well, speaking of the Queen, let's talk about Queen. Whatever I want to be.
Yeah, this is voiced by Tiffany Haddish, and oh my God, Dragon, I love this character. I'm in love with the animation style. I'm in love with the with kind of the twist they pulled on her. Oh man, she is like one of the big reasons, one of the big surprise reasons, because I didn't really watch any trailers, that this movie worked as well as it did for me. I applaud her presence greatly.
Right. You're absolutely right, Tigger. Her animation is great because again, it's basically the shape-shifting queen, the shape-shifting kind of Duplo queen. With with these designs on Batman and Bricksburg and the whole shebang, and I like that she's very menacing and suspicious, and again she's not mean spirited, you know, she's just very menacing and like you'd instantly be suspicious of anything this character does because there's an ulterior motive here or something. Again, hence the point of the movie. You got this again. It's trying to trip you up. Like again, we're in Lucy's headspace. We're okay. There's something sinister and funky going on here, but no, she just has. Batman is part of a grander plan. Again, the armistice, kind of the olive branch. So again, broadly, that is the plan. However, she does genuinely fall for Batman, and I still wonder. You know, it sounds ridiculous, Steve. I wonder again how much of that is the sister trying. It's probably just the sister trying to get close to the brother. The sister just trying to, hey, you know, you're one of your landmark Legos is with one of my landmark Legos. I wonder if like I don't really. I wonder if the sister just like has a crush on the fictional character of Batman. That'd be kind of cute. I doubt it's the case, but it would be kind of like of all the Legos she could have picked, Batman. You know, I wonder.
Fair enough.
Anyway. So let's see. Yes, but this queen, you know, she symbolizes. And here's with the in terms of why the relationship works so well. But the big thing with the queen, I like that the queen does symbolize loneliness, and especially symbolizes how the sister feels. This lonely character, where again she feels excluded from what her brother's doing with the Legos, and that's basically what again. Think about this Lego with infinite potential to be anything that they want to be, and of course, given the thing we learn about. Well, again, we can talk about it a little bit here. You know, she's born from her brother's support in the very beginning, and that's what this Lego is kind of created from, and then to be just kind of villainized and kind of seen as the bad guy, as the invader, very literally as the invader to all the boyish fun going on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. So I think the causal link is that you have like, you know, these two lonely characters there, and kind of the loner and Batman kind of getting along in that capacity, and broadly have all these other connections going on there. And I guess overall, you have kind of a message. There's kind of a clever message of the dangers of war within this movie about plastic bricks. If you really think about it, it's this. You know, you're matching aggression in kind. It's never that. Again, it's a gutsy. It's a clever gutsy message they put in a kids' film. But like, hey, if you view someone as the bad guy, they're going to become your bad guy. Again, they don't even. You know, even if they don't view themselves as a bad guy or as your enemy, they're going to, again, you start something, they're going to come back at you with the same thing. Again, that's how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon, it's like that's why I like this movie so much. You know, it's one of those movies that I feel could be taught at like a socio-political film class or something like that. I don't know, something really fancy, you know, where the director has like just like, all right, we're gonna lay out 10 clips that each represent this important subject.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, let's talk about General Mayhem, voiced by the lovely Stephanie Beatrice, you know, from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, I really liked her as well, Dragon, and she kind of submits the fact that this film is filled with really good female characters. So yay Lord and Miller for writing all of them.
I do feel she gets a little lost in the shuffle. I won't lie. I think she's just kind of like, you think it's going to be a bigger character, but then I think the Queen just either the Queen just instantly overshadows her, or she just literally falls into the background. I'm not sure, but she does have a big role. And she has a big, basically, she has a big role in that she basically ushers Lucy to her arc. That's kind of thing. She kind of guides Lucy to the arc. And again, I think if anyone does, primarily is the voice of the sister, is probably going to be General Mayhem. In the way, like in the way that Emmett's kind of Emmett's kind of the Finn, and I think this character is probably representative of the sister most, be my guess.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of hilariously calls out.
God, I really like the design, like building up to it, and then seeing the the Duplo person underneath the helmet. That was an interesting reveal.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
So let's look at the most interesting layered character of the whole thing.
Rex
Danger Vest. So Rex,
this is probably your first flight, and it's mine too.
Okay.
No, not Captain Rex. Not Captain Rex. Sorry.
Well, he is a captain, and his name is Rex. So.
Yeah. Oh God.
In all seriousness, so Rex,
and riding with him might steer you towards certain doom.
That's true. All right, to keep it simple, Rex is sort of, he's like Pratt to the max. I think that's the best way of putting it. Rex.
Oh yeah, it's just like everything. Like basically, I really feel like what they did was they looked up Pratt memes, they looked up Pratt reviews, they looked up Pratt movies. Compilations of like the best of Pratt on late night talk shows. I honestly think they went through that much research to truly get down. Like, okay, let's get a character that truly embodies who Chris Pratt is, specifically in 2018, 2019.
Yeah, the interesting thing with the Rex character to me is that we have a character who's so manly. Again, it's like every the man's man that is the genetically the old Army of Chris's gag from the MCU, and basically it's kind of Hollywood. Yeah, like these like 4 or 5 just kind of like genetically engineered Chris's that are just gifted at everything. And you take Chris Pratt there. Again, you basically have this character that, again, is kind of the ultimate amalgamation of Pratt, but also gives us something we've never really seen from Chris Pratt before, at least to my knowledge. We see, again, it's like the old thing with Jackie Chan we've been saying. Like, rarely do you see some people, some actors, rarely do you see them play bad guys. And I feel Chris Pratt, I've never seen Chris Pratt as a villain. And this is kind of chilling to me, seeing Chris Pratt in kind of that villainous space.
I think the closest he's come is probably Passengers, but even that movie, it's like he's got a creepy motive, but the movie wants you to be on his side, so...
Exactly. So, I mean, probably the closest, and maybe that's the influence, perhaps, if they're going... Because, again, even this guy, he's not all bad, but still he is somewhat of our villain.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, there's a lot of really interesting things to break down Rex, but so Rex, he's kind of created by a kind of societal expectation to conform. That's kind of what he's created by, which, again, given the correlation to Emmett, is really fascinating. That he, Emmett is a character who, again, represents kind of like the most uninteresting, just kind of like, again, construction work, the most average kind of Lego brick, who, of course, is very special. And, of course, the inverse of that is someone who is basically molded by an expectation. Basically, someone who's kind of molded by what everyone is expected to be like. So again, it's kind of the inverse of Emmett to a degree, which is very interesting. He's basically it's a message of we're all miserable. You should be too. That's kind of the mentality that bred a guy like Rex, where pretty much what Emmett's going through in the movie. So I love the dynamic between Rex and Emmett initially, where, again, he's kind of like this older brother figure, which, again, kind of the bro-y kind of older brother quality of everything. Again, Rex being kind of the uber macho Lego. Again, it's kind of Pratt to the max. We have this sort of, it would make sense that he would kind of take Emmett under his wing and vice versa, because, again, he does like Emmett for a very good reason.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very it's very interesting. Again, the fact that he's not bad, but he is Emmett realized in a negative way to a degree. And of course, basically, we see kind of, it's like if you took Emmett and you realized him in a negative way that was dangerously and basically going down an unhealthy path. You would get, if Emmett went down that path, he would end up like Rex, in a matter of saying. which also is just very charming, cool, yet not conventional. That's the thing I love about Rex. I like that he's not necessarily conventional. I like that he's kind of making fun of the convention by saying like I'm all these things, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dragon. Again, I find myself like this movie is kind of like it has a weird sort of tipping point towards it in terms of like, all right, can we talk about the spoilers now?
Well, I mean, I guess we should, I guess we should talk about it now then, right?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying because it's part of Rex's character arc. Like we can't really fully address Rex as a character without talking about the spoilers involving him.
All right, go
So,
ahead.
okay, so Dragon, you'll probably be able to explain it better than I can, but from what I can understand, Rex is actually Emmett from the future.
Yes, he is.
Da da da.
Yeah, the movie goes all over the place with something like that, but I think it pulls it off. Rex is Emmett having been thrown from the kind of the lake, being thrown through from Brickburg at a certain point in time. Essentially, during kind of Emmett's big journey to save everybody, Emmett's ship actually crashed into the asteroid. He was kind of flung from onto the floor of kind of the basement where he slid under the dryer, the washer dryer. And it took him again. We saw the Emmett in the first Lego movie during the big kind of live action reveal. A Lego can move itself, but it takes a lot of concentration and kind of it's a big thing. And basically, Emmett trapped in there almost like Green Arrow style. Took him years to be able to move himself. Took him kind of the Lego equivalent of years and a long time to move himself to free himself. And of course, basically got embittered over time that nobody came to save him. And basically he basically embittered by this he reinvented himself as Rex Dangervest, and he built a time machine, and he went back to basically corrupt his younger self to ensure that he becomes Rex Dangervest. It's pretty much, and he wants to basically make it so that the Legos never intermingle with the sister. And broadly with Rex, the bigger idea is that he is what Finn could become if he's not open minded enough to kind of let his sister into his world.
Okay, I have a couple points with that I want to make. One, I really do like the whole the whole idea that Emmett's insecurities are once again arguably his worst nightmare and his greatest enemy, right?
Uh that's the interesting thing, T, because I see where you're going with that, but I'm just trying to think if his insecurities really are defining him there, because it's more, well, you know what? Yeah, it is insecurities because it's against the fear that his friends won't come find him. So yeah, there's an insecurity. So yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. Um, uh, let's see. So number two about this big twist. I don't know, man. I just well, I'm sorry. Oh, right, with the I'm sorry, with the Rex stuff. I'm sorry. I kind of
Yes,
okay.
Rex.
Rex stuff. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, I got it. I got it. The time travel thing, Dragon. The time travel thing to me, it almost sort of loses the Lego mythology a little bit. Just in the terms of like, I like that they play around with the whole you can see him, can't you? Like kind of like the Tyler Durden of it all.
Yep.
But I don't know. I almost wish they would have gone more with that and made it more ambiguous if it was or wasn't a Tyler Durden character.
I don't know. I think they addressed it enough to where they could have their cake and eat it too on that. I think they did a fine enough job with that.
Uh,
Yeah, a lot of people are throwing around the term toxic masculinity with Rex, and I'll say this much: I think it's a lot more applicable here than it is when people are throwing it around during Wreck-It Ralph. I think they're trying to be relevant with Wreck-It Ralph. I think here it actually, well, literally, it is toxic masculinity, where he's just trying to say, no, let's not play with the girl Legos. Let's just like, no, we don't want them in, we don't want her playing with us. We gotta foil this so it never happens. So again, I think here it's definitely more you can apply it more here.
Right, right. All right.
But yeah, that's the thing. I love his arc though. I do love that he's just kind of like again. We see him kind of redeem himself when he sees that his friends did eventually come for him, which basically alters the timeline. We get kind of a Back to the Future Vanish on him, which is it's really it's again he has an arc too where he basically realizes that no things don't have to turn out as bad. You don't have to close yourself off to new ideas. So again, it's the whole open minded message of I don't have to. It's like not the end of solitude. You're kind of broadening your horizon, so he kind of sees the upside before he kind of disappears. And again, it's a nice little moment for
him. Nice, nice.
Yeah,
I like that you can eloquently explain it. Good job there. Good job.
Right. They're dynamic. I mean, Emmett and Rex. Anything you want to weigh in?
No, I mean they're really fun. They're really fun. I think I think the whole idea of Rex already being a huge fan of Emmett, and Emmett just has this like love at first sight thing with Rex, and that just makes them just kind of like instant bros. And it does kind of genuinely sort of change Emmett throughout the movie, and that arc is kind of like one of my favorite selling points of the film. Going into it. And Dragon, that's one of the big things I think maybe I forgot to mention up at the top is that I do think that this movie has better character writing than the original Lego movie does. I think all the characters get themselves fleshed out at least a little bit more than they did in the first movie. And new characters get to shine, old characters get to come back. I think it's a damn rollicking good time, my friend.
And speaking of old characters and new characters alike, let's talk about just basically we're going to quickly list through a lot of our supporting characters and our basically a number of cameos. Maybe not every cameo, but a number of them.
All right. Do you have a list in front of you, Dragon? Are you on top of this?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
All right, so first off, let's talk Metalbeard. So Metalbeard, again, not a lot of development here. Just it's nice to see Nick Offerman back in a role, and my favorite bit of animation, I think, is with Metalbeard because they have that dance move that he does. Remember, he's kind of dancing in the palace. He looks great. I don't know what they did. The animation looks wonderful with Metalbeard when he finally gets his body back in the movie.
Yeah, I do like the runner of him just straight up not having a body.
I got a keyboard leg. Look. I love it when he's a treasure chest in the head though. That was a good design. I'm getting the barnacles scrubbed off me. I don't know. Metalbeard keeps growing on me every time I rewatch the Lego movie, and especially this.
Right.
Metalbeard's awesome. So then we have Benny, of course. Benny again. I don't think he gets as much love there, but it's cool to see him back again and geeking out.
Benny. It's just like he had a big moment in the first one, and in this one, it's just kind of like, hey, there he is. All right.
Benny was delightful in the first one.
That's there doing his spaceship thing. Good for him.
He's seen spaceships galore this time around because they're going into space and all these new frontiers. So he's having a blast. Let's say Unikitty. Here's the thing, Tiki. Unikitty. I don't know if you're aware of this. Unikitty is ridiculously getting popular because I don't know if it's out yet or what, but Unikitty's been getting an animated series. Getting some series because I remember I saw like an image recently. I was doing some Batman research, and they're doing like they have like this image of Unikitty looking basically mirroring the Batman the animated series pose in animation. So I presume that's part of her animated series. Basically,
not sure on that one, Dragon. I've never seen the Unikitty show.
That's the thing. It's either getting ready to basically. I don't know if that was like their first tease of it or what.
I know it. I just never sat down and watched it.
Well, regardless, point being, Unikitty is. I guess there's a big demographic for Unikitty. So I mean, apparently this character is really popular, and we did some neat stuff with her this go around. Where Unikitty is did like this He-Man transformation, like the Lion-O. Well, no, not He-Man. God, well, no, it is He-Man. It's not. It's He-Man. But it's not Lion-O. What's the? Yeah. are you into He-Man at all? Like, do you have any frame of reference?
I can't say that I am, my friend. What do you need to know specifically about He-Man?
The tiger that he transforms when he goes on the sword, he says, I have the power, and basically he transforms and the animal transforms. Basically, that's what Unikid. Uniki's like the animal that transforms.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I get the general gist of what you're going for, man. I don't have a name or anything, but I can follow you on that. Yeah.
That's what I'm going for. The point is like Uniki has a
I
trans.
mean, it's like I haven't seen Unikitty, the TV show, so I don't know about any of these transformations. I don't know if it's a canon with anything like that. But what I do know is that the transformations like really do make her stand out as a character and as sort of like a force to be reckoned with. Like you really want Unikitty on your side.
Yeah, don't get
So,
Unikitty angry.
yeah.
All right, let's see. We have Alfred, and they got Ray Fiennes back for Alfred, even though he barely says anything. But hey, it was cool to see Alfred back. I'm surprised they didn't bring back Robin. But again, if they brought back Robin, then they defeat the whole purpose of Loner Batman. But the point is, we have Alfred, so that's great. I still love. I love the Lego Batman movie, especially sections with Alfred. The beginning of that movie are great. So it was cool to see him at the start of the movie, just kind of still being a butler in the end times and Apocalypseburg. It's quite funny. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Sir. Okay. Tell them about Surfer Dave, or like the many Surfer Dave's kind of like Prince. All the various names and kind of transitional phases, like Dave the artist. So tell us about Dave. Well, Tiki. Yep. All right. Anyway. So yeah, we have Surfer Dave, and Surfer Dave, he goes from Surfer Dave the Chainsaw Dave to Purgatory Dave as the as things take a turn throughout the movie. It's lovely. Again, in Apocalypseburg, he goes to Chainsaw Dave. Well, I guess he's polishing chain. Boy, he has like this chainsaw attachment on his arm.
His general demeanor and his attitude and everything about it just does not change. The name changes just to keep up with the times, right? But he's still Surfer Dave at heart, right?
Yeah, Brian Lindsay's on the ball with this, by the way, in the comments right now. Chainsaw Dave, yeah.
Nice.
Yes, and of course, Purgatory Dave did crack me up though. Surfer Dave has just been most affected by this Apocalypseburg stuff. All right, and let's see. Beyond that,
Yeah, I mean, it was, the Apocalypseburg was kind of like, it was a high stakes thing. It was like a big sort of. That's another big thing to highlight with the movie is just how, you start things out and it's like, okay, everything that you loved and saw about the first Lego movie is being destroyed.
yeah, but even in the end times, Emmett still knows all the cats' names.
Right.
All right, let's talk about the Justice League real got here. So we have, we had Superman, Green Lantern,
My man.
Wonder Woman, and of course Aquaman, who in this case is voiced and modeled after Jason Momoa Aquaman from the DCEU. What did you think of
that? Yeah, it was pretty fun.
What kills me about what I love in the movie so much is the fact that we're addressing the DCEU, and again, the Lego Batman had a lot of barbs against the DCU, which is hilarious, and we mentioned Affleck a couple times in this movie. Beyond that, I love that we're addressing the popularity of the Jason Momoa Aquaman bits like that. But more accurately, I laugh so hard at it in the movie. The fact that we have the older Aquaman who was in Lego Batman and the other stuff before they knew that Mo was going to take off the way he did. We have it was like the old orange, the classic orange shirted, short, blonde haired Aquaman who was in the previous version of Aquaman. He's like doing like the roll call and seeing if he's there. It's like him and Larry Poppins. That was funny.
Larry Poppins, I love Larry Poppins. Got to give him a quick shout out.
It's funny. What they wanted to do is they wanted to have Larry Potter, but they didn't want to risk taking off the Harry Potter fans, so they changed it to Larry Poppins.
Also, Dragon, can I just give a quick shout out to my boy from the Mighty Boosh and the IT crowd, Mr. Richard Aioli, who provided the voice of Ice Cream Cone?
Man, I love that ice cream cone.
Yeah, that guy's a really interesting performer.
Love that design too. Is that ice cream? Basically, it was kind of again another parallel that Batman and the Queen had in common was that they both had kind of a snarky manservant.
No way, we both have snarky English butler types.
Exactly, it was great. No, also we had Harley Quinn. So here's the thing, and I love this because again, that Aquaman gag opens things up, and basically doing the DCU opens it up like this. Tiki, and I love this, and I hope this is like a runner where see Jenny Slate played a different version, played the Lego version of Harley Quinn in Lego Batman, and now we have like the Suicide Squad specific Margot Robbie Harley Quinn. And again, with this Jason Momoa thing, it makes me think, okay, there are different variations of Lego. So we have, and that's basically what the world building kind of opens up. We have these different variations.
Well, I mean, we already saw the different versions of Wonder Woman in this movie.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that this gets opened up here. With
that.
Like one of those versions was voiced. Margot Robbie did a number of voices in the movie, so she like ancillary characters, like one of the Wonder Women, and just kind of like the assistant who wore the crown on top of the Queens. Like that was also Margot Robbie. Let's see. Abraham Lincoln came back, voiced by Will Forte.
What do you think of the bait and switch they did with the President Business?
So yeah, here's the thing. So we had we had three characters came back. So we had from the first movie, we had Bad Cop Vitruvius, and President / Lord Business. And unfortunately, Vitruvius obviously he was dead, so that's an easy one to forgo. But I mean, Bad Cop kind of bummed me out because I love Bad Cops. Like
Bad Cop. I would have wanted at least like an epic death or something, or a scene or two.
Yeah, and we just had like a quick like little beat where he just like turns his head and we see we see both sides are miserable now. I was like, oh man. It's just kind of sad in the fact that we didn't even hear him speak. And then the idea is that I'm getting a sense of those 3 stars were a little too expensive for the movie, therefore they can only get Will Ferrell for voice work. And probably busy with other things too. And based on the other side of it,
Liam Neeson for much cheaper these days.
That's the thing. Oh, come on. Don't be that guy. Come on. I'm doing Mistletoe. Isn't that enough?
That was just a bit of timely humor for you folks.
Anyway, so the point is, Neeson and Morgan Freeman, were basically all of our Batman Begins actors when you really think about it. They're just a little too expensive for the movie this go around, but at least with present business. I like that we didn't completely forget him, or at least we addressed the fact that we're not going to have him in the movie. And again, the big thing to take away from all that, Tiki, is there is an implication that maybe Finn's dad, maybe the man upstairs, maybe he's kind of an absentee parent.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I got some stuff to read into it there, so I thought that was interesting with the whole way they wrote him out. And at least they had him golfing. Maybe he could have run into Lego version of Howard Hamlin. You never know.
God. Of course. The Hamlin dream is never going to die, Dragon.
Yep, and he's wearing a Hamlin blue golfing attire and monogrammed golf clubs and everything.
Of course he is.
HHM.
Oh, God.
All right, anyway.
You know what? This is something that I'm kind of picking up from, not necessarily the baseline of what we're talking about here, but Dragon, what I really do love about this movie in terms of the world building is just how good it is at actually really giving you that sort of sense of that sort of sense of these worlds are clashing. You know what I mean? It really is okay, if the sister and the brother did suddenly start to play with their with the Legos together, it would be pure chaos for a while, and eventually it would lead to something really nice. And that's what I like about about this movie. I don't think it's a classic by any means, but I think it's good. I think it's got a good heart to it.
Yeah, and we also had the Raptors. The Raptors are I think they're way better in this movie than were in Lego Batman here. They have this whole co-worker environment.
I think they're way better in this movie than they were in the Jurassic World movies.
Well, yeah, sure. I'll give you that. Comparative, this was, to be fair, it's an unfair comparison. This is beyond awesome versus they have to be Raptors. They're getting coffee, they're getting playful, they're making small talk Mondays, right? Come on, how do you beat that?
It's the Jurassic Park Raptors, just like on their coffee break, Dragon.
See, that's the Jurassic. That's the way you get me really excited about a Jurassic World or a Jurassic Park movie. You have them like it be all Raptors with subtitles, just kind of doing.
Oh my god!
Thing.
Oh my god! Yes, yes.
They basically do Office Space, but with Raptors, pretty much. That's what I'm saying. Like you have like that'd be great. And you could have, I guess, maybe the T-Rex could be Bill Lumberg. Maybe it could be Gary Cole doing the voice of. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. We're trailing off. And there's There's a Banana Mario, kind of this really random banana peel just keeps slipping all over the place, like he's Buster Keaton.
Right.
Okay, this one real quick. Okay, just because this one, I want to get your reaction on this one. Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
I thought it was, yeah, that was, oh boy, I was like, and you couldn't do Mr. Rogers? You couldn't have a Fred Rogers Lego in there somewhere?
I wonder, there has to be a Mr. Rogers Lego somewhere, right?
I don't know, man. I don't know, but it makes me upset that was, that was snubbed, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this much in terms of just Ruth Bader Ginsburg being included, given the whole again, we're kind of having some it's a wedding and they have a judge and they have on the bride's. The point is we have some really interesting nothing. Look, personally, nothing against Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but I got to tell you that her documentary stunk. I tried Tiki, I swear to God, I tried watching it again today. I tried giving it more time, and I realized it was like 20. It was like 25 to 30 minutes in last time I left off. It's like, oh my god, I got that far into it, and then I gave it a little bit more, and it still was boring as heck. Boring as heck. Anyway, but glad to see her included though. Wish other people were included before her, but again, seriously, it's like neat to kind of see such an obscure kind of Lego being kind of thrown in there. Anyway, all right, walk us through the world building. Iggy.
Huh?
Walk us through the world building.
Okay, sorry. Shit. So yeah, with some of the world building, I do think that they did it was an interesting job. It was an interesting concept. And I don't think it was pulled off quite as meta Lego movie. But again, it was kind of like the whole idea of like the Duplos and everything kind of coming together. And Dragon, as someone who did grow up with Duplos, I love that stuff, and I love just the whole idea of kind of bringing different toys and different things into the Lego universe. And what do you think about that, Dragon? Just the whole idea of like, all right, now this world isn't restricted to just Legos. Like, who knows? Lego Movie 3, we could have Kinects.
Well, yeah, and I love that was opened up in the first movie with all like the different. You had Bionicles teased up a little bit. We had like all those brands in the first movie.
I love a Bionicles movie, Dragon. That was like the Ninjago movie I actually wanted, Dragon. That was the Lego lore movie that I actually really wanted.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, just talking about the animation for a spell here, I love that. Basically it continues to impress. Not a lot of major strides in it. However, from what I understand, they did something really subtle and really special with this movie versus the first one, Tiki, where they perfected the frame rate and the in between. So basically, it looks more like stop motion than any of the other Lego movies have looked before. It's essentially what they've done for this movie, and I think it shows. But again, subtly shows. And then we get into other things like texture, like have the glitter effect, the weird glitter effect.
Yeah, the glitter effect in itself is just like that because it's such a prominent part of the movie and a prominent part of one of the characters, that definitely works, and that definitely like shows through and shines itself off.
Yeah, and again with the overall world building, and we have again, I already mentioned how, again, I love that we can now address like it's like Elseworlds from DC, or like an Infinite Earths type thing we can do with the different brandings, where you can have other Lego characters be different versions of themselves with the whole, with the Momoa Aquaman and Harley Quinn, and again, so on and so forth, in the form of either Duplos, the mini dolls. The mini dolls, that's what you keep thinking, they're not Duplos, like the mini doll versions of like Wonder Woman, basically are the General Mayhem. I believe that's a mini doll. I think that's either that or Lego Friends. One of those two. I think it's a mini doll.
Okay.
Anyways, you have like 3 points. You have like 3 in this movie. We get 3 different variations on a Lego-esque thing. And again, you're right, though. We are broadening the horizon. They have like these guys armed with cake pops. It looked like cake pops they were armed with. I don't know if they're like oversized lollipops, but they look just really, really awesomely hilarious and soft. Good texture work. Anyway, I'm even just getting beyond the animation and the look and just kind of what we're incorporating. And we have like these bigger ideas that are just kind of basically they're again genie out of the bottle type stuff. But again, the stuff that's playing really well is the fact that we've applied 2 to 3 contextualizations to the plot where we had that with 1 in the first movie. And again, now we've broadened that. And that's the really, to me, story-wise, that's the most impressive thing about the movie. Where we have these events that again correlate with the plot. And again, it's almost like a Rorschach test to the audience, like which character is kind of evoking this in the plot. Is it Finn? Is it just paralleling Finn? Is it the sister Bianca? Is it both of them? Is it, like which perspective is it coming from? But again, the whole movie, as you said, is a fusion of these perspectives. It's them coming from these. Again, it's kind of the whole movie is about the fusion of kind of 2 different worlds of Legos kind of intermingling, and kind of the trial and tribulation that kind of comes from kind of like a meetup like that.
Right.
All of that is just very good. So again, on the whole, we incorporate the real world from the outset, doing stuff like that, and also we have incorporating the real world from the outset. I love that we're doing stuff like when a Lego goes to a different. Essentially, the Legos from the basement are trying to go to the sister's room upstairs, and the way we interpret that is they get into a Lego ship. And they go through space. So basically, when you leave that table, it's nothing but that pink swirly space that we saw when basically Emmett almost died in the first. What he thought was almost dying. In the first movie, we're kind of using that. We're broadening the whole thing, the asteroid fields and everything. So again, all that's great and kind of impressionistic Lego works. That's great. And also, I love how we up the ante with brick destruction in this movie, where Emmett learns a new trick of how to destroy Lego bricks. And again, we think that if you're Emmett, like, oh man, that's really cool. I can destroy stuff. Again, it's kind of a really great vague warning to the movie where you're destroying things. The whole first movie was about Craggle being kind of like, it's the stop of progress and creativity with Legos. In this movie, the destruction of Legos is, yes, you do need to take apart Legos to build something, but when you smash them like that, there's an aggressive context to that. And also is the fact that Emmett thinks this is cool, but what Emmett's actually doing is he's getting ready to destroy Bianca's hopes and dreams in Lego form. But again, he doesn't see this as a bad thing until it's too late. So, all that's tremendous.
All right.
Yeah, let's pro-con this thing.
Pros and cons?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't have many cons for the movie, Dragon, so do you want to just start with those just to get them out of the way?
Yeah, sure. It's a few cons.
Okay, Dragon, I have a question for you. What did you think of the movie being a musical? I personally think it escalated it, but I have a feeling you might be on another side of that argument.
Look, I'm in a weird place with the songs because here's the thing. I think the songs are good. However, again, this is like barely a con. It's just that the songs, they're good, but they're a little forced and a little often. But by the same token, that's kind of the point. The point is, I think, here's the thing. I think what they're saying is that, okay, they're kind of dipping a little bit into the whole, it was a girl, therefore she likes, wants the movie to be a musical. I think that's what they're saying. I think that's why we have these songs in here. And again, broadly for the movie, they want songs because Everything Is Awesome was a big hit, was a big smash hit everybody went crazy for. So that's why they want the songs. But again, we're kind of using it. It's something that I'm not saying it reflects badly on the movie, but it's just something that, again, the characters in the movie are kind of rolling their eyes like, oh, God, another song. And I'm not saying, again, none of the songs really bombed for me. I think there might be, I'm not thinking of it right now. It might be like one song I wasn't crazy about, but on the whole, like they're all either catchy or they fit well into the movie. But again, it's just we don't really need them, and I think it shows. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the songs though. That's the thing.
Not like a number of them. Again, I'm not taking anything away from the songs, but do we need them?
No, but to me, the songs almost kind of made the movie, though. Like, to me, the songs were like a big ingredient in what makes this movie, in some ways go a little above and beyond the original Lego movie. And that's what I really love about it. Let's see, we have the, I'm not going to recap through all the songs, but I just think they're all fantastic. And
well, the two that I really liked.
Yes.
I love the catchy song, which is like, it's saying the song's gonna get stuck in your head like that. That whole.
This song will get stuck inside you.
Yeah, that's a great I think that was the clever, that and the credit song were the clever
This
songs
song's
they
gonna
had.
add you. This song's gonna get stuck inside you. This song's gonna get stuck inside your head.
I think that song and the end credit song are the most clever songs they had in the movie. And the one I got a kick out of was the Gotham City guys, where basically the Lego Batman compares himself to he basically melds together all the Batmen.
Oh dear. Oh man.
He has like the charm of Clooney and the lips of Val Kilmer. I thought that was hilarious. So again, that's the thing. But again, the songs are good. That's the thing. Like that Gotham City guys song is pretty hilarious. But it's a great Here's the thing. More so, it's a great sequence, but it's a good song too.
Yeah, the Gotham City song, I'd wager to say, is probably it's the most useless song in the movie. But then again, you do get Batman doing a duet, which is funny how often you get to see that.
Let me put it to you this way, Tiki. I preferred the Gotham City guys more than I did the. This is probably going to sound like a weird thing. I kind of preferred it more than I did the whole no parents thing, the first one. The big Batman rap of the first movie.
Oh God.
But here's the thing, because that that song just that was here's the thing. I love Lego Batman, but the whole rapping component is like, I don't know how I feel about it. But then again, Lego Batman happens the opening song for Lego Batman. That to me felt a lot more for the heavy metal thing with Batman. That feels more appropriate. And then we have something here where again, okay, now they're justifying kind of the rapping nature. Where again, he has a duet with somebody, and again, this feels more again. Basically, if the lyrics are more about Batman than something that's kind of more out of left field, where it's basically Batman saying, "Hey, my parents are dead, but the money makes it better." Like that to me just feels like, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm saying is it played better here than it did. Okay. All right. See, not a lot of cons really left for me here. Let's see. So again, obviously they couldn't afford certain characters, and my problem is less the fact that they didn't get them, more the fact that they it shows that they could not get those characters because we see Bad Cop doesn't say anything. We write out President Business. That's the thing that bugs me. It's really apparent we couldn't afford everybody. Let's see. As I mentioned, again, this one it's kind of in the middle. You have the whole genie out of the bottle effect, and this is the thing that, on the whole, kind of bugs me about the movie, where it's not. This is a toughie where there's a lot of telegraphing the plot. There's a lot of predictability in this movie, and I think that's the single biggest problem of the movie. And that's not comparatively, it's barely anything, but still, I think that's the main problem I have with the movie is that it's really predictable, and they're spelling it out way too much. And again, they're telegraphing so much because they don't have the smoke screen, like you don't know exactly what's going on like you had in the first movie. Now you know what's going on, and they're teeing it up really early. I should know in Act 1 the Armageddon thing. I really should know that, and I do, and I can put the again. It's not just me. Like I think everybody's just kind of putting together how the movie's going to go, and the whole Armageddon. It's too spelled out. What do you think? What do you think about the predictability? About do you think the movie's predictable at all?
I mean, not necessarily, but the reason why I think that is because I feel like in true Lego movie form, it's like we're going to be like, okay, we're going to go in, we're going to get some like first of all, I didn't expect the queen to not be evil dragon. That was a good twist.
Right. Well, I mean, like stuff like Armageddon and everything.
Yeah. It's it's all fine.
All right. Okay. Let's see. I think Batman's a little gullible with the whole Superman runner during that. Basically, he gets married on a dare because it's Superman. Pretty much, it just feels like, look, I'll take all the relationship stuff. And that's fine. It's like Batman's really just like the Superman thing. That's what got him. That's the thing. I feel like my point is like that's the one running gag with Batman, along with that's one runner. It's like, okay, I think we said everything we need to say about there, but why do we keep perpetuating the whole he's insanely jealous of Superman to the point where he's getting married despite Superman. That's the weird thing to me. It's like, okay, that's where we're overplaying our hand.
Right? Yeah.
That's just for the Bat fan in me. But beyond that, it's beyond that, the predictability is the main thing I got going as far as a con. There's one Maya Rudolph joke I'm not crazy about. I love that we include Maya Rudolph, but the whole she steps in a Lego brick, which I love that, by the way. I love that she steps in a Lego brick, the thing every parent has gone through. However, there's like this really silly line where it says, "Oh, it's worse than childbirth." Like, come on, really, man? Stepping on a Lego brick worse than childbirth? Really? 2 kids? Really? I don't know. Kind of a dumb joke. But aside from that, yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, let's see. So we're at pros and cons.
Roll it up.
Favorite scenes.
No, pro. We need pros, Tiki. What do you got?
Oh, pros. Sorry. I think the animation is improved from last time. I think the character arcs are actually improved. I think they took some bold risks with some of the characters. Distribution of screen time was really well between some of them. I don't know. I like. Generally speaking, I just think that this movie is very easy to watch. It's it's a very nice kind of like crowd pleasing, like, kind of turn it on and just sort of like, all right, Lego Movie 2. And it's got this very energetic, bombastic energy to it, much like the first one that I love. And I think it's one of those movies where it's like, no, it's not as good as the original, but you know what? It's in good company with the original.
Right. I love that it picks up where the first one left off, and then we have this really logical time jump, which kind of sets the stage for everything really well.
Right.
We have Chris Pratt in kind of an antagonistic role, which is very interesting, rarely seen. Again, we have a lot of logical world building we already kind of went through. Batman's really on point, and again, a continuation from all the cool stuff with Lego Batman. Great design work going on, in terms of the Lego builds and everything, and kind of our sets and locations and ships and so on. Again, the songs are clever. We have the razor sharp comedy of the first film. Basically, I think that we continue kind of when the Lego stuff is done right, we have like kind of that razor sharp kind of like gag after gag after gag, kind of like bam 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 thing there. Again, we have kind of an interesting kind of subtext with the whole "Where, honey? Where are my pants?" with Will Ferrell. He's off screen again, presumably again, kind of leaves when things get heated. Again, the presumption is the kids start fighting and dad's a no-show. So again, there's a lot of like interesting parental things to kind of parenting style things to kind of factor into the movie. I don't want to sound too judgy with that, but I mean it's true. I mean, again, I guess they got him out of the movie because if we now know what the deal is with President Business, we can't do much character-wise with him on the Lego front. We can only do so much.
On the adult side of things, I really like the moment where the mom steps on the Lego and compares it to childbirth.
Yep. And let's see, we have
neck and neck with childbirth.
Mm-hmm. So again, it's the inclusion of Maya Rudolph, though. That's great. So I just love that. I love putting her in this, and I love making her the mom. That's great casting. She's been killing on The Good Place, by the way. She plays the judge in The Good Place, so she's quite fun there. The last thing I got is the message of the movie here. We already have like a lot of great references to it. That goes without saying. But I mean, the message of the movie, we have messages of acceptance, of getting along, of people having differing perspectives. There's basically don't conform. There's kind of like a non-conformist sort of thing. Like don't conform just because everybody else is miserable doesn't mean you have to be too. And again, there's a lot of a lot of interesting messages that apply to the movie really cleverly. So yeah. All right. Let's talk favorite moments.
All right, Dragon, I realize we didn't dictate these off air, so why don't you go first, and then I'll just pull some out of my ass based on the ones you didn't pick. How about that?
All right, so let me hit you with a few here. So again, one right off the bat, Bruce Willis. We have Bruce Willis in the movie.
Yeah, Bruce Willis is, honest to God, he might be the most memorable part of this movie when all is said and done.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest, probably the most likable Bruce Willis has been in a long time. I just love this idea, and again, it's kind of Bruce Willis. Again, they got him in there for like 2 bits, but it's like two or I think he has like a line off screen, so I guess technically it's like 3 bits in the whole movie. But again, there are three really good bits. My favorite being Bruce Willis, basically in this John McClane attire in an air duct, where he just kind of bumps into Lucy, and he says, "Oh yeah, hi, I'm not living in these air ducts." Just the idea of Bruce Willis is so down on his luck, he's living in air ducts like John McClane. I love it. So I love that. I love the time machine reveal. I mean, don't on the whole, like the whole time travel element is interesting. It's fun, but I mean, specifically, I love the reveal of the awesome looking fist. Remember, it's a the spaceship in the shape of a fist bump. Which one, I love that design already. Secondly, I love learning that like he went through all the iconic time machines and he built it from that. So we have like the DeLorean time machine in Lego form, which I was like pumping my fists and you're like, yeah. We have like the TARDIS and the Bill and Ted's phone booth, and then we have the.
So it was basically like a Frankenstein's monster of time machines, right?
Yes, and it's so me, Teague. I'm a vehicle nut, and like, oh yes, it's like I want of the things from this movie. I want that ship, and I do. All right, let's see. So we have that Batman's for the fans moment at the top, which addresses Lego Batman, which is so sad, and again, kind of a fourth wall thing of like. Again, they're kind of addressing the bigger issue of like, can Batman be happy? And what are we saying about Hollywood and Batman? Like, we always have to have him be a loner. We can't let him progress. Otherwise, you kill the characters. Like, Batman's having that sad line saying, for the fans. Which is for the fans. So again, that's what he was like. Yeah. And let's see, a big one. Okay, we had a couple Marvel references in this. That really, first off, the fact that Marvel's not returning their calls cracks me up. I laughed so hard in the movie when I heard that line. Marvel's. Suffice it to say, I've been a big advocate of like, why can't we have a crossover movie with the two of those? That's been my biggest thing. Like, and of course, can I have that acknowledged here? So I really lost it that bit. But again, broadly, there's a big. They're not saying it explicitly because the whole Marvel thing. But again, there is big Infinity War parallel in this movie, and I think it's one of my favorite things in the movie where we. I was wondering, were they going to end the movie where they were teasing ending it, where they're all being put away into the bin? And it's kind of the Infinity War. Are we going to have a down ending? And it looks like they are for a moment there. And we have not everything is awesome. So, and again, the fact that with the time travel and everything, again, with old Chris Pratt involved with time travel and kind of being out of the equation, again, there's definitely some Infinity War Endgame kind of stuff to factor in there. So that was good. All of that was neat. So those are some of my favorite moments. What do you got?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I guess shoot. Okay, well, I guess Dragon, a lot of my favorite moments do come from the song. So let's just get that out of the way. Like I love the this song's gonna get stuck inside your head song because it's just what I love about it is it's so bouncy and energetic and true, and it just this is gonna sound corny, Dragon, but it speaks to people like a generation younger than me, and so I can listen to the song and be like, hey, I'm still hip and young, right? But in all seriousness, I really like the way that the hypnotizing goes down during that song, and that Lucy's the only one unaffected by it. It's a really cool kind of plot twist thingy going on there with what exactly they're up to. All right, let's see. Shoot. Think, Tiki. Because here's the thing, Dragon. There's a ton of gags, but they all go by so quick, right?
Tiki had the Wild Star reveal. Tell me about that one.
The Wild Star reveal, yeah, that one was really good because that one came at the very end of the movie, right? This is that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dragon. This is what brought the movie into the credits, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, so the reveal is basically that Wild Style was the original female singer for Everything Is Awesome. And yeah, and I just love Emmett's just like squee reaction to it, and it's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah.
That was a good character reveal, man.
And again, it adds so much to her because she's always hated that song, and now we know why. It's great.
Let's see. Trying to think of one or two other favorite moments here. I mean, much like you, I love everything with the Raptors. The Raptors are just top notch.
Yep, it was like, scratching the raptor like a dog. It's a little tip off too that the Raptors love Emmett. And of course,
Right, right.
they love Rex, and now we know why.
Yeah, I think I'm good, man. I think I'm good on favorite moments.
Okay, so Tiki, what do you think about the future of the Lego franchise on the whole? Like, any ones you want to see? Where do you think it's going? The shoot.
Honestly, Dragon, I would like to see Lego Justice League.
So here's what I'm in favor of that, but I'm going to raise you that as I was teasing a little bit earlier on. DC and Marvel Lego, they're never going to cross over at any point. This is the only way we're ever going to see it, and the only way it could be physically possible. DC and Marvel Lego crossover would be perfect.
Man, that would be pretty epic. I gotta say that would be that would be a bold one.
Yep, and also Lego Batman 2. I'm definitely that one from what I hear is actually happening, and I definitely love to see that.
Yeah, I would even say a Lego Movie 3, like for sure, to round out this trilogy, since this trilogy is so high quality so far.
Sure, and I'm not saying this is impossible, but my fear, though, is that I fear they're going to. I think the broad thing going to Lego Movie 3 is that there's a genuine fear of running out of story and milestones. Because think about it. I mean, instead of going for the only obvious milestone I can think of is the big, in a franchise is the passing of the torch. Maybe all that's left, where like Finn, like the kids might have grown up and they're either putting the Legos away or they're giving it to somebody else. Which again, we've kind of seen done better in other toy-related franchises. So I'm just worried that that's going to be their only play left. I'm just trying to think what other Lego-centric plays they could have, if again, assuming they're going to continue with the whole. In the main Lego franchise of you have like kind of the parallels of what's going on in the real world with the Legos. That's my only fear if they do a Lego movie.
Dragon, now that the kids are teenagers, I think it's time to bring in Bionicle.
I'll give you that. Yeah, it could work. So it's the question of like if they're going to go with Bionicle or not, what else they could go with. So yeah.
And Connects. I want to see a Connects roller coaster in a Lego movie.
But with that, there is a danger we do have to address. There's a fear of doubling down on spin-offs. Like, we don't want more Ninjago. I think that's pretty safe to assume. We don't want more Ninjago.
Yeah, please no more Ninjago, please. Yeah,
here's the thing. I'm not even a Ninjago fan. I've only seen the movie, but I know people who are big Ninjago fans of the series Ninjago, and they were really hurt by that movie in a way that I would never understand. Like, they were really just like, they're really butthurt by that movie. They are. I mean, I was just like bringing up conversation. Like, hey, you guys get ready to see the Lego movie? Like, yeah, but again, then Ninjago got brought. My one friend from really dark and grim, almost like brooded in the movie. It's like, because again, he loved that series. He loved the Ninjago series and all that stuff. It's like he was just really he's bitter on that movie.
Oh boy. All right. Yeah, I mean I'm sure there's other stuff that I'm missing, Dragon. Like I said, the jokes just fly at this movie so fast and hard. I love the Queen's first song. I think that's some great songwriting mixed with some incredible character animation, the way she transforms herself constantly. Honestly, that might be the best scene in the movie for me, purely from like a visual storytelling point of view. Just holy crap, what a good scene. But yeah, I mean, just overall, I feel like this is going to be another Warner Animation Group movie that it might not necessarily get the attention of something like the original Lego movie. And I think that's a shame, because Warner Animation Group is sort of coming out with some dark horse movies nowadays, between all the Lego stuff and also Storks, Dragon. I was reminded of Storks today because I was just sitting there and I was like, man, Storks was made by the same animation company. Wasn't Storks such a good movie?
And had a Pixar director on it. Had God, I think it's Doug Sweeland. Doug Sweeland did an amazing job with that movie. Oh my god, one of the best Pixar animators. Like all the stuff, some of the best shots in Toy Story 2 are Doug Sweeland animation.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Well, certainly, Dragon, we will talk more about the Lego movie, the second part, when we get to our movie memoirs at the end of the month. What's the next movie you're planning on seeing in theaters, Dragon? Probably Captain Marvel?
Well, no, we have How to Train Your Dragons, but also
How to Train Your Dragon. That's right. That's right. Duh. Silly me. Silly me. All right. Well,
I also had some final thoughts too, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Final thoughts. My bad. My bad.
So again, just to close it out here, so final thoughts for me is that I think it's kind of again it's kind of in that Wreck-It Ralph 2 space. It's great. It's a solid continuation, but I don't know. It's something weird and something that's kind of hard to describe. It's like something's missing and not clicking, and to me, not as good as the first film. But again, it's solidly consistent with what I would want from that movie. I personally I like this better than I like Wreck-It Ralph too, but again, in very different ways. I think this is more solidly consistent with everything I loved in the first Lego movie. However, Wreck-It Ralph is it's different than that movie, but again, getting into new territory and a lot of fun and a lot of different world building. This is just, again, it's again, this movie was just, it was great, but again, I echo Tiki Simon. This movie, it's unfair the lack of attention that it's getting, and that to me makes me sad because this again they're doing excellent work with these Lego movies. Again, Ninjago's basically been the one hiccup in the grand scheme of them. That's again that one. It's passable. It's just not great. And again, compared to these other movies, which just been knocking them out of the ballpark. So again, we'll see what happens in the world of Legos going forward. But I sure hope they get better attention. I'm sure with the next Lego Batman movie, then that'll hike them up again. Just going forward though, which is a straightforward Lego movie, I don't know. We'll see. Again, that's the thing. I'm afraid. I want to say afraid because I can live with this. By if they just made superhero related Lego movies, I'd be perfectly fine with it. I'm just saying, brother, I don't want them to just be creatively boxed in like that. Again, if they want to try something a little bit in the Ninjago space, but maybe a different brand, like Bionicle or something, by all means, I'm rooting for them. I'm in their corner. They have my attention. If they kind of apply the creativity they do to these movies. But Lego Movie 2 though, very impressive. All right, very impressive. All right, very impressive. So, folks, that'll do it for now until the next movie, which will be How to Train Your Dragon at some point down the line.
All right, yeah. Okay, thank you for joining us, and don't forget, everything is awesome.
Everything is awesome, unless it's not.